what's been going on?
Oh man, a lot has been going on. I have launched my seat company. I run a company that does seats for Can-Am. We do spliters, Rikers, everything. So
Now, what's Can-Am?
Can-Am is the company that makes the slingshots. You see all the Detroiters riding around in the slingshots, or the three-wheeler Rikers. They make all those machines. The water, the ski-doos, all that. So my company makes the custom seats for it. So Detroit, we stand up and we customize ostrich, alligator, diamond stitch, whatever it takes. We make it all. So I have to make sure I'm multifaceted. Music is not the only stable that we run, but now we're running in Can-Am, and we've taken it nationally, internationally.
What made you decide to go into the industrial industry?
Man, I bought the bike. I bought a Riker, Can-Am Riker, because my wife said, "You're not bringing no more two-wheel bikes home. No more motorcycles for you." So I was like, all right, I won't get two wheels. I came home with three. So I got three. I got the Riker, and I started customizing it. I'm like, you know what? I want to do a seat. Did a seat for myself, and then everybody started asking me, what's going on with the seat? Where'd you get this seat from? I said, man, I made that, and a light bulb went off. Like, you know what? There is something right in that. So I started it. Built an online website. Before you know it, I started out at about 3 seats a week. Now we do about 300 seats a month.
Wow.
At about $200 a pop. You do the math.
That is great.
So I got a question, because I am, and long before it got popular, right, I've always liked old school cars and motorcycles. Okay. We go back to Outcasts and them various establishments. So I want one.
Okay.
I want a trike, a customized trike, and I want a chocolate brown, and peanut butter brown, right? I already know the specifications. I need you to help me find a sponsor that will pay for that.
Okay.
And then we could put my dog on the other side. I could.
Coco put the guests to work.
Listen, you know, we go back 100 years.
Hey, listen.
Listen.
That's a small thing to a giant.
Listen,
Real talk.
let's do that.
Real talk.
Say that.
Yes, because I want one, and when it get hot, I be like, is that Coco? Man, I'm out. By the time you figure it out, I'm bleeding.
That's it.
Let's
Wow,
go.
so you can make any type of custom seat.
If we do any type of custom seat, we not only do the custom seats, we have a wrap company that we've aligned with that does every color wrap that you possibly want. Wow. Poww Custom Collections, which is the brand, and powwcustomcollections.com. So anybody who might want to go on the website, you can see everything from the trikes, the trike you want, the color you want, the seat you want, whatever you need. It is put together. It's an online business that's running itself.
I love it. So you all could do, so if you do my seat, then you could do a couple jackets and then a couple pair of boots to match it.
Look at that.
You do everything.
Whatever you need.
I love that in you.
We can do a new chain for you as well.
Yes.
So
I need an old chain to get a new one. Okay, we'll talk
So
about that.
when I meet J Poww, it was a bucket list that I needed early. I wanted to always be an artist manager. When I was 14, I wrote Ashford and Simpson. They wrote me back. I told them I had an artist, right? And she could sing. She could really sing. They wrote me back. It's like, wow, they wrote me back. I didn't know how to get them music or anything. I just knew if they said something, if it was a bus trip or something, I could get her there. But so I always wanted to do that. So Motown was giving, the president of Motown is the late, what was his name? He was the one who hired P. Diddy for Uptown Records. Andre Harrell. He was in town, and they were casting. They were looking for acts for Motown. I said, I'm going to go. Anybody they don't want, I'm going to scoop them. If I see somebody I like. Wow. So I go. These guys went on stage and performed. It was a total of 5 members of the group, but only 3 of them were there. And Jay was there. And I said, hey, can I manage you guys? He said, who are you? What do you do? And I said, well, I really want to do artist management. I do radio. So his brother said, yeah, I heard of you. Because they're from Lansing. So he said, okay. I said, just give me 60 days. If I don't do anything, we're good. The long story is he was the one who basically said right then and there, yeah, go ahead. You think you can try it? Go ahead. But he kept prefacing this. You ain't see our whole group. You ain't see our whole group. He was just sprinkling magic dust in my ear by saying that, because I thought what I saw was equipped enough. Miller London said, man, these guys can sing. Now I need an A song from them. I said, no, I just gave you 7. He's like, nope. Those are all B songs. So he said, where'd you get the songs from? I said, well, their producer wrote these. He said, what did they write? I said, they can write. He said, well, where is it? I said, I'll be back. So I was in California. I came back, went to their house late at night, as soon as I landed, said, I know you guys do music. Do a song for me that you guys did. Give me your top 3 songs. They did a song. They started the song off, and in 20 seconds, I said, that's it. They hadn't sung one lick. Not one lyric at that point. But I knew in the moment J. Poww opened his mouth, I said, this is it. This is the song that he told me that I had to have to come back to California with. I never got back to California fast enough because someone locally heard the record and called Freddie the Man, who was Madonna's manager. And it just snowballed from there. We tried to get the local radio station to play it, and the guy would just laugh and kick me out of his office until a local competitor of his, not local, a national competitor of his in D.C. put a local group on from their cassette and got all that credit. This guy couldn't, he wanted the credit.
Shy.
So
That's what it was.
he put, yeah, Shy was the group. So he put it on and it just went, poosh. Long time, UNV, something's going on. Still being played around the planet today.
Changed my life. That song changed my life. Took me to about, let's see, I've been to every state in the country probably at least 3 times.
Yep.
3 different countries. That song changed my life completely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow.
That's so magical. That's a
Changed
magical
mine
story.
too, because listen, I was kicking it with never mind. But
And then he wrote, he didn't write the song like in some studio or anything like that. He went in some corner somewhere in Lansing, wrote the song. I kept asking him about
but the
song.
lyrics. I'm falling out of love with you.
Listen, I wasn't
Whoever
in some,
wrote that.
I wasn't in some corner. I'm going to just keep it 100 with you. I was sitting on a bunk in the county jail for riding around with a suspended license.
Yes. So here's what we had to do. Everywhere he went in America, we had to get a judge to grant him permission to be in that state.
Crazy.
Could you imagine the work? But for what he was doing and what I wanted him to do was just go back to the county for just 2 days and write again. Just 2 days. But boy, what was going through your mind? Because of your situation, of course, would depress anyone.
At the time, it's one of those situations that you have when you are struggling artist trying to make it, and that woman that you with is extremely high maintenance, and she wants you to be something that you're not at that point, and she don't see the vision. So at the time, something was definitely going on, and I knew based on the situation from a friend of mine that he was like, listen, man, she ain't the one for you. I'm telling you, I didn't want to hear it, but in actuality, something was going on. So when I found out the real, sitting on that bunk, it was like it just poured out of me like a conversation. Wow. And that's how I write to this day, like a conversation.
Miller London, who worked for A&M Records, had just signed Janet Jackson and told me, if no one signs your group, I'll sign them. And he said, because I'll sign them, somebody's going to sign them. He had just did Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal and Janet Jackson, and Miller wanted them to succeed. He thought that they were great. So imagine being in that house that night. It's just me and them, right, in a living room.
Westbrook and Finkel.
So we sitting in the chair, and they start. I hear like 40 seconds of the song and told them to stop.
He's like, cut it out. That's it. That's it.
I said,
Don't do no more. Don't do no more. Don't do no more. That's it.
Don't do no more. Just stop. That's the song. I need you to work on it. And then my soul would, I said, well, go ahead, finish it though. To just sit there and hear that. And to them, it was just one of their songs. It wasn't necessarily the song. They didn't think of it the way I did. It's just they were ready to do the other 3 or 4 songs I asked them for.
So you said Miller, he said you got to have a hit, an A hit.
Oh, yeah. He said, you got to have an A record, and it's got to be a hit. He said, all those 7 songs. And so this producer didn't do that song. He did. Jay Poww did that song. And that producer sent me to hell with lawyers. But I had an Italian hitman.
Oh, Lord.
So.
Now, how statute of limitations is how many years?
I didn't say his name. I just said I had an Italian hitman who, wait a minute, who picked up the phone when I told him that these people were giving me hell because they didn't write the song. He said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to your attorney. I want him to get the rights to the name of the group because they didn't create it. And he says, I don't want you to pay attention to anything their attorneys say. He called me back a day later and only said these words. Hello? These are the times that test men's souls. And he hung up. In other words, he was saying he didn't give a damn what he was saying. Get the paperwork done because he's coming to Detroit. So this guy gets on a plane from Hollywood, comes to the neighborhood to see them, and was ready to suitcase them back to California the next day. It was quite a journey, and all tribute to Jay Poww and the uniqueness of his writing.
And to Miller London for saying it has to be an
Miller,
an A song. Because I want to say my traffic director, Leslie, she just hit me. She said, that's still my
absolutely,
joint.
absolutely.
Period. So for a song to have longevity like that, like right now, I feel it like the first time I heard it, that's an A song.
What year was that, Jay?
Did that?
That was 1992 when it was written, and
look at that.
1993 when it went #1.
So I'm just sitting here like, wouldn't it be nice to do a concert and showcase and present, reintroduce the world to those groups from our city to this generation?
Oh yeah, and there were a few.
Absolutely.
The 2 girls of Poww was another group. They got their deal because of us.
Poww.
Warner Brothers came to them. Well, they went through us first and signed Poww.
And what about the Bodies? The Body Sisters? No,
they were before us.
Oh, okay.
There were 2 groups that followed UNV. Poww and 7 Mile.
7 Mile. That's it. Used to be the one I loved. Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Man.
And they all came through us.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one time I got a chance to get with my classmate to show him that I did something too, I was unable to. I had to ride around in California with the agent. It was Arsenio. They did his show. He scrapped all the other groups. They were, first of all, a fill-in.
Yeah.
But then he had other performers. He heard them and scrapped everybody and made them the only performer.
Why am I looking at that show in my head with the
sang that whole
outfits
show.
y'all had on?
Yeah. Think about it. Back then, we were the only group dressing really nice.
Yeah, with
Right.
the different color
Suits,
blazers
nice
and
vests,
all that.
different color
Yes,
blazers.
absolutely.
We brought that to the forefront.
Yes.
When everybody was in the crazy boots and the wanting to be saggy jeans, we was sharp all the time.
Yes.
Grown man.
It was an amazing time. But why did the booking agency guy want to ride around with me and talk that day?
Because
That
you
was
was
the
a
day.
safe person for him to talk to.
No, he wanted to.
Listen, you know how they do.
He was booking dates, so of course I wanted to do it. That was money for the group, and he,
Now Montez.
BET.
Was that a connect? Yeah, Montez.
Oh man,
Yeah,
Montez Miller said,
Shout out to Montez.
Yes.
Mason, your group, tell them we got them. We're putting them on Video Soul. The record label went bonkers.
Hold up. Not even to do that. Montez did the classic, iconic move and put our poster on Martin in the radio studio.
Oh, the Detroit move.
Oh, Montez.
Wait a minute, but let me say this. Montez is from Highland Park. Let me just throw that out there.
Montez went in.
You know, that's, yeah.
Montez Miller is who we're speaking of.
Montez. She put
Didn't she?
in the
Yes.
Martin.
In the
In
Martin.
the Martin radio studio,
Yep.
you will see the our first album cover on Martin's wall. You know, so
And
many
that's
people
the
hit me about that all the time.
difficult
Like,
thing to
I
do.
just saw your poster on Martin's show.
Yeah.
Oh, Montez.
Iconic.
So it followed suit. Martin was about me. The group was our group. Jay in the song. Boom. Montez Miller making moves. The label said, "You're doing New York in 3 hours." They were pissed because they cut deals when they put groups on Video Soul to get other groups that are not as popular on. But Tez, she was moving. So I just listened to him and took it. And and again, real quick, I know I've done this story before, but just real quick, we found some young people like Max who was going to do the video for $3,500. We were ecstatic. I said, man, I'm gonna give you 5,000, and I'm gonna try to get you 7. No, that record label called me and they said, I want you to have a seat and pull up real close. They said, there's a guy named Hype Williams who's going to do your video. I was like, oh, he's good, but listen, I got some kids. He says, no, let me tell you.
He did say Hype Williams. Y'all heard that, right? He did say Hype Williams.
Yeah. And how you just say, I don't want to hype on somebody else.
I'm going to get back to Hype's name. So I said, no, these kids got a great concept. They know how to do it urban style. They got their own stuff. And I only have to pay them $8,000. He said, let me tell you, Mr. Mason, how this works. You're going to pay Hype Williams $250,000.
Wait,
And he's going to shoot and he's going to shoot your video. And then you're going to pay a guy in your market to go to your radio stations another $100,000. I said, no. I got Detroit. I don't need nobody to promote Detroit. Right?
They told me,
They said, you don't understand. You're going to pay. They
told
called the person's name. I said, no. And then when they called his name, I said, I know him. They're like, yeah, and you're going to pay him. I said, I ain't even got to pay him. I know him. He'll just do it. I said, but I don't need him. Already got it on all the radio stations. It don't work that way. But they smartened up. They flew them everywhere, put them in 5-star hotels. They had to do a tour in the South. They told the label, don't give us nothing. They got them an 18-passenger van and drove through the South.
Everywhere.
So they could put that money in their pocket. They did the group Shy. While Shy was on the road, they bought them a mansion and made them all live in the mansion and took their money.
We was on Westbrook and Fingal.
Yep.
Until we was on tour.
Until
and then they came in and robbed our house completely.
Yes, they
Took
got
the refrigerator.
wait.
Hold on. You said they took the refrigerator.
Took the refrigerator.
Listen, but this is what happened. So what happened, they was playing basketball with these kids, right? So they was like, they wasn't paying attention to them. They telling them, we got record out, we on TV, we do stuff like that, take tours. Them kids was like, yeah, okay, dude, give me the ball. And they were watching Video Soul, saw them on Video Soul. They said, oh, the house is ours. Went in the house, took stuff, defecated on the beds.
Crazy.
Yes. They
But
were so mad.
Saved the day. We came home off tour. He didn't even let us go to the house. He said, listen, I remember this like it was yesterday. He said, listen, nobody's going to the house. We got everything removed out because they took our clothes. They took everything. They said, y'all not going to the house. We're like, what? We ain't going to the house. Basically said, look over there on the desk. It's 4 keys. We all had 4 individual keys to the Riverfront apartments.
Wow.
Riverfront apartments,
Yeah,
right there on the water.
Riverfront, yeah.
Basically, y'all, this is where y'all at. This is where y'all have arrived. Y'all don't.
And the
need to
record
be-
company didn't pay for it either.
Yeah.
I paid for it.
Mason paid.
Because they
That's
were
huge.
they were paying. They were good and they were deserving. And I love them to death. John, you got a new song.
I got a new song, and it's so fitting with everything we've been talking about. It's called "What Happened to Love Songs," and it's basically just talking about what happened to romantic love songs that made you feel something, made you feel like you wanted to cry if the words just meant something to you. Every line could be a soundtrack to your life. What happened to those songs? and we need to bring it back. It's time to come back to feel-good love songs.
Where can they find the song, Jay?
The song is downloadable on all digital platforms, of course, Apple, Spotify, every digital outlet out there. The song actually premieres on Valentine's Day, but it's out early now this week, so we want you to go out and download it. You can definitely follow me on J Poww of UNV on Facebook, J Poww of UNV on Instagram, J Poww of UNV on Twitter, J Poww on UNV just about everywhere. So man. J Poww, J period, Poww.
Love you to death, man. Good job.